Hello, hello, hello. My name is Attorney LaConnie Murray. I am the small business attorney. I help clients throughout the United States with trademarks, copyrights, and business development solutions. Thank you so much for joining me. Hi, Donald. How are you? Today, on this version of Ask the Small Business Attorney, as I said, I help clients throughout the United States with trademarks, copyright, and business development solutions. And today I just wanted to come on. This is going to be a quick live stream. We're going to go and just answer a question that was brought to me, and it's concerning app development. And I thought this was a really great question, a really appropriate question for this time that we're in, because everybody is mobile. Everybody's business they're creating apps, and nowadays you don't have to personally be a computer techie in order to get an app for your business. You can work with an independent contractor, and they can get that for you. 1 second. There we go. And they can help you with that. But one of the things you want to do when you're working with anybody, especially when you're working with third parties to develop intellectual property for you, is to make sure that you're protected. You want to make sure that you are you have things in place to make sure that your interests are protected, and not just what you think you're getting, but you want to actually open up your mouth and have a conversation with the person that you're working with so that you're both on the same page. And then after you have that conversation, you want to write it down, okay? You want to have a contract that memorializes the understanding that you two have. So when you're working with an app developer, and like I said, I'm just jumping right in, but what I want you to do before we jump in, because this is going to be a quick scope, so if you know anybody that can benefit from this information, send it, share it, invite them in. And when you come in, say, hey, so I know that you're here. Okay, I want to make sure that you're here and that I see you. So, the three things that we're going to talk about today as relates to just having a great relationship with your contractor that's building this app for you. You want to talk to them, and the one thing you want to talk about is just make sure you have an understanding about who's going to own that intellectual property when they finish building it. I know I had a conversation with a client earlier this week, and we were talking about this, and I said, well, she wants me to file a copyright for it, and I said, well, who developed it for you? Hey. And she told me it was a third party. I said, well, we need to make sure that you actually own it. You have a copyright assignment. Oh, I own it because I paid for it. Just because you paid for it doesn't make it yours. And I say that all the time. And hopefully, if you follow me long enough, you will understand that, and you'll take it to heart. Just because you paid for it doesn't make it yours. And so, because that person created it for you, even though it was your idea and you talked to them about it, because they're the person that brought it to life, they're the person that are going to be categorized as the author. The author is the person that brings the content to life, that brings an idea and they execute it, so they take it and they put it in a fixed, tangible form. So when you had it, it was just an idea, like, I want my app, I want an app, and I want to do X, Y, and Z. You had a conversation with them. Now they take what you have and with the information you gave them, and they make it happen. It's the making it happen part that's protected by copyrights, not the thinking part. Because what we don't want to do is have people come up with these great ideas all the time and never do anything with it, but they're preventing other people from doing something with it because they hadn't acted on it. So the one thing you want to do is make sure that you have a conversation about who's going to own this intellectual property, and in what extent. Are they giving you a license to only use it in certain ways, or when the app is complete and the payment is complete, will you own it outright? Will they assign all the copyrights and their interests to you? Those are things that you need to talk about. So that's number one, copyright assignment. Number two, so when you're working with a third party, and because you're not doing it yourself, you want to be sure that that third party is not using someone else's intellectual property to create your intellectual property. So you want to have a conversation to make sure they understand what trademarks are, what copyrights are, and that they are not going to use anyone's intellectual property without their consent. They want to make sure they have the proper licenses and things in place to make sure that you're protected Okay? So thing number one was copyright assignment. Thing number two is to make sure that you have a conversation about using other people's intellectual property, because you don't want to use anyone else's intellectual property while you're building your software. And if you are using someone else's intellectual property, you want to make sure that you have the proper licensing and permissions to do so. And number three, I told you this was going to be quick. And number three, confidentiality. When you're working with this third party, and especially when you're building this app and you're going back and forth trying to bring your vision to life, you're going to give them a lot of information, a lot of details that are specific to your business, that if anyone else were to get a hold of it, it can potentially harm your business. You're going to be giving them possibly client files, client information, just financials, and just different types of documents and things to get this app created. You want to make sure that you talk about and that they are aware that this is confidential information that you're sharing with them, and that they do not have your permission to share that with anybody. You want to make sure that. And I was going to say something else, and I just slipped my mind. It'll come back to me. But that's absolutely vital. Because those things are called trade secrets. Trade secrets are those things that give you a competitive edge or a leg up on your competitors. And they can be simple or they can be complex. The main thing is they need to be a secret. It means that everybody can't know it, because if everybody had this information, if anybody had this information, then you would absolutely lose the competitive edge that you have over your competitors. Okay? So does that make sense to everyone? Does that make sense? Hey, thank you so much for joining me. We're just signing off, but it was really great information about working with web developers, because nowadays every business has one. And if you're in business for yourself, I'm sure you can think of a way where you can, you and your clients and the people you serve can benefit from you having a mobile app. And the beauty of it is you don't even have to create it. You don't have to sit there and code and know everything anymore. Now you can contract it out. But when you're working with those contractors, you have to be wary. You have to make sure that you have a written agreement. You have to make sure that you have an actual conversation about what it is that both parties expect. Because what you don't want to happen is you create this app. It's an amazing app. And now you guys are fighting over who owns the intellectual property. So that's all I have for you guys. If there are no further questions, that's all I have. And remember that you can submit, we do this every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central Time, except for last week. Last week was, it was spring break, and my little ones were not feeling too well, which was a great way to spend spring break for them, I guess, being sick. But no, so, but you can absolutely submit your questions to, go to our Facebook page, which is Off the Mark IP Solutions, and you can submit your questions there. In the direct message part, you can message me your question. All right? And if you want to schedule an appointment, if you say that, hey, I have some questions that are specific to my business, I want to know more about trademarks, I want to learn more about copyrights and business development, hey, Will, definitely schedule an appointment by going to offthemarkipsolutions.com / contact-us. Or you can just go to my website and hit the Contact Us button, and that will send you straight to my calendar to schedule a time. All right? I look forward to talking with you, and I'll see you guys next week.